to Meeple Village. Today we are going to be doing a full run through of Shadows of Brimstone. We are going back to the Old West. We're going to be fighting the most weirdest monsters, exploring, and just having fun while we're at it. Join me at the table and let's play Shadows of Brimstone. Alright guys, I got the game almost set up, which in this game, the dungeon is going to be generated randomly. We're going to be drawing a bunch of cards, and I have them all here ready to go. I have the depth track ready to go. We start, the heroes start over here in the mine entrance, and the darkness starts over on the other end, and you'll see how that works as we start playing. This is the starting tile. I'm going to be doing a solo playthrough with just one hero because this game has a lot of things to keep track of, and a lot of rolling and a lot of cards. So the simpler for the purposes of making a video, the better. It'll still give you the idea of how to play, and I will mention the differences if I was playing with more heroes in the game. You can also, as a single player, control more than one hero. That's definitely something that you can do. Of course, I only recommend it if you've played the game enough that you're very familiar with it. The game is not hard, don't take me wrong. It's really simple once you understand it. But there's a lot of little things that you need to keep track of, and a lot of them are easy to forget. I might even forget some of them. But the hero today is our gunslinger. This is his starting stats, and he starts with a 6-shooter, an ability which is quick and the dead. And I'll show you all of that. He has a side back. I've chosen to start with bandages for him because we're playing a one hero only game. We start with 2 revive tokens, and we're going to be drawing monsters from the low threat deck, which is right here. And we're gonna give those a shuffle. Actually, I have all of them because in this particular adventure, yes, we start with the low threat decks, but in the final room, we're going to be getting a high threat monster, or not monster really, but a high threat spawning card. So that's why I've kept them all here, kind of. But mostly, when we are facing monsters, we're going to be drawing from the low threat. As long as we're not in the last room in the dungeon. But I'll show you that in a minute. We start with 1 grit, which is a way to either re-roll any of our dice when we're in combat, or also when we move. We can add another die if we use a grit. Every time that we roll a 1 on movement, we can recover a grit, and we can carry up to 2. Most heroes can carry up to 2, but I'll show you all of that in a minute. This is his starting weapon, which I'll show you as well. And every game, when you create a new hero, at least the core box comes with 3 different abilities that you can start the game with, and you get to choose those. You get to look at them and choose those. So I've chosen reload, and I will show you what that does. And then finally, the one thing that I didn't do is pick a personal item. So this kind of gives you a little bit of flavor of what your hero is all about, and usually gives you a special something, a bonus of some kind. So today our gunslinger has shackles. Okay, and I'll show you what those do as well. And then these cards can be put away. We don't need them anymore. Also important to know, he is carrying the lantern, and what that is just a source of light. It matters with more players. If we were playing with more players, the whoever has the lantern, well, that's where the light is, and you can see the map tile where he's at, and there's light in the map tile adjacent. Any map tile that's adjacent to the map tile where he's at. But heroes that are not within those limits are going to be having to get horror hits, and obviously you don't want to be horrified when you're in the mine alone with no light. But let me show you the hero in detail so you can get an idea. I'll do it quickly. I'm not going to go over all of it. I'll go over all of it in more detail as we're using the stuff. But let me show you what our gunslinger, which name is Doc Cassidy, is all about. Okay, so here's our hero in a nutshell. Hero class, gunslinger. Showman that may come in as a word that shows up in another card, but for now we don't really, it doesn't really matter. This is all his range and melee stats to hit, how much he rolls in combat when it's like hand-to-hand combat, how many grits he can have. Remember the rerolls, so he can have up to 2. Skills for tests that we might encounter. This is his initiative. He has a really high initiative with 6. And the ability we talked about, Quick and the Dead. Use the 6-shooter template. It starts each game fully loaded with 6 Deadeye shot bullets, which are a special kind of bullets. They add +2 to damage. Starting items, a pistol, which we got, and then his health, his sanity, and his defense numbers. And like I said, all of this will become clear as we play. His reload ability allows him to use 2 grit to refill these 6 shots back into the 6-shooter template. This is the only way to get more shots into the template. I'm not sure that we're going to need it, but it's good to have the ability around. This is his pistol, has a range of 6, so he can shoot up to 6 spaces away. It has 2 shots. It's a one-handed weapon. This is the value, if the gold value of it, and that's to tell you that it weighs 1 of these things. And it has upgrade slots, which we can use dark dark stones to upgrade, but we won't be able to do that until the end of this adventure if we have enough money, which we might not. And then finally, our shackles gives us +1 strength, and once per adventure, cancel and redraw an exploration token. So if we don't like an exploration token that we get, we can always cancel it and just get another one. Now the game comes with these cool templates where you can kind of keep track of what your hero is getting as far as XP during the adventure, gold, items, anything that he gets, any other abilities that he's getting through the campaign. He can just keep track on this handy dandy piece of paper. So I've updated it as of now. This is what our hero looks like, except there's no picture of him. I hope they don't expect me to draw a picture, because there's no way. I would never. Okay, and I'm basically just gonna use that for when I have to when I collect gold or loot or everything, which leads us to, come on, let's get started. So the game is really simple, but first let me tell you what our objective for this particular adventure are. In order not to spoil much, we're going to just use the scenario for your first game, basic game. So, we won't use all of the advanced stuff and all of that. We won't use any gates to other worlds. And then what is our, our objective? So to find the Darkstone deposits, the hero must explore the mine and find 2 exploration tokens with clue icons on them. The first clue icon lets them know they're on the right track, and then the second is the actual deposit. And then when you find the objective, we're going to do this. You can look at it now, but I'll just come back to it later. And then this is our reward for completing this encounter or this adventure. And then the back of the book has a few important information that we might refer to as the game goes by. But for now, what we're going to look at is the game turn. So these are the steps on a turn. So we're going to go to number 1, hold back the darkness. Then we're going to activate our models in order of initiative, then room exploration, and then finally end the turn. So let's go. Let's hold back the darkness. So in order to hold that back the darkness, we look at our depth track and see where we're at. Now the heroes are on the first of 3, I guess you can call them kind of like danger zones. And we're of course in the easier. So right now we need to roll 7 or more to hold back the darkness. If we don't, then of course the darkness, well, gets bigger. So the first thing we do to hold back the darkness is to roll 2d6 or 2 regular dice, and see if we can get 7 or more. And we got 10, so we have held the darkness, so that's good. If we hadn't, then this moves over to the, closer to the hero side, and things start to happening. If we end up in a blood splatter, we draw a darkness card, which they're here somewhere. So we definitely don't want that. And then there's other things, like here on the 6, we will draw a growing dread card, which we'll have to deal with at the end of the adventure. But we did it. We're okay. So now we are going to activate all of the miniatures, everybody that's here. Now obviously there's only one person here, so we'll activate him. And how we do it is, first we move, and then we can search. So let's see, how do we move? Again, we're rolling. If you like luck in rolling games, this is the game for you. We have to roll to be able to roll. It's crazy how much rolling goes on in this game. But let's go ahead and roll. So let's see how much he moves. 1d6. Okay, so he's moving 1. So I already said that, but in case you forgot, if you ever roll a 1, because we don't get to move too much, as a reward, we get a grit. And grits are great because they let us re-roll later. So I'm up to 2 grits. Now that's my max, so I won't be able to get any more grit later on. So I moved 1. And after I move, at the end of my turn, I can search. Now there's 2 types of search that we can do. We can scavenge, which means we look around the mine and see if we can find something of value. And the other thing that we can do is look through, they call it a door, but really what it is exploration to another tile. We look to see what's ahead. Because we're not next to a door, what they call it, but like at the edge of a tile, the only search that we can do is a scavenge. Now scavenging is dangerous. The scavenge deck is 1/3 nothing, 1/3 good, 1/3 bad. So it's always a risk to scavenge, but because I want to show you guys, we're going to do it. So in order to scavenge, we're going to roll 3 dice, 3 regular d6 dice, and any 6s that we get are successes. We roll 3 6s, we get 3 scavenging cards. We roll 1 6, 1 scavenging card. And we got 1 6, so that means that we're going to go to the scavenging deck. Now you notice in my decks, there's 2 decks that are standing up. One of them is the scavenge one, and the other one is the loot. That's because these 2 decks do not have a discard pile, and that's the way of me remembering that. Every time you get a card from the scavenge or the loot deck, you shuffle. You shuffle before you draw. And what do we get? We get nothing here. So the room appears to have nothing of value, nothing to find, but because we did try, we get 10 XP. I went ahead and marked the 10 XP here on my piece of paper. I will continue to do that. I might not always show you, but I will continue to keep track of the XP gain. And if I get any gold or any dark stones or anything else, I will mark it here. I also want to show you, depending on how many heroes are in the adventure, the map tile can only be scavenged 1, 2, or 3 times. So we've already scavenged the total that we could scavenge this particular map tile, which is just 1 because we're playing with 1 hero. And to indicate that we've done that, we place a scavenged marker on the map tile, indicating that no more scavenging here. But that's it. That's the end of a turn, the end of a round, because well, there's no room to to reveal, and nothing happens at the end of the round. As of now, we don't have anything that happens at the end of the round, so we go back and start all over again with holding back the darkness. We still need to roll a 7, so let's see if we can do it. And we rolled a 6, so we didn't do it. So darkness is starting to get stronger. So okay, now I'm gonna roll 1d6 to get him to move. You see how moving is important. We gotta get moving. We can't 1, 2, 3. I mean, we can't stay here too long. Now he's really doing nothing because he's not next to a place where he can go deeper into the tunnel. He's already scavenged, so really his turn is over, and we go back to trying to prevent the darkness from growing. And this time we did it. We got an 8. So now he's going to move, and he moves another 3. So 1, 2. And you notice how I placed him in the middle right there. He's halfway through the tunnel. And that's because that half a space does count as a valid space for him to stand on. And more even than that, it counts as he's standing in 2 different tiles. He's standing in this tile, and he's standing in the next tile, even though it hasn't been revealed. But now at the end of his turn, he can, remember I told you he can scavenge, which is a type of search, or the other type of search is looking through a door or looking into the horizon to see what's next. So we go to the map tiles, the map deck, and let's give that a shuffle now. The one thing that I will tell you about this game, it gets big real fast. You start exploring and the map tiles are really big, so I'll try my best to keep everything on camera and adjust as necessary. Let's see where we're going to go with our next tile. We found a rail tunnel, and we have to find this map piece. Okay, so here it is. Here's our tunnel, and see the green little arrow? that tells us where this tile is connected to the previous one. So we're going to connect it just like that, and now he's in both. Half of him is in one and the other one is on the other one. I'm going to leave this around because the other thing that we need to do is to put an encounter token over here, and it's not an encounter, an exploration. And exploration tokens are going to do, well, different things depending on what we get. And we might need to refer back to the card for one thing that you'll notice in 1 second. So I'm just going to put an exploration token there. Now it's important to know that we don't reveal them right away if we're playing with more players. And the reason why that is because if you remember, the steps on a turn are first deal with the darkness or hold back the darkness, then the miniatures activate. So if there were other players, we looked through the door at the end of our turn. He moved, he got next to an edge, so he looked through the door, but we don't reveal the room yet. All the other heroes will get to activate and maybe search. If the room wasn't scavenged yet, they get an opportunity to search or to move. It's not until when all the heroes finish that we move on to the next step on a turn, which is to reveal the room. So that's when we would reveal this. But there are no more heroes, so of course once we look through the door, we're done, there's no more hero activating, so we'll go to revealing a room. So we're going to reveal a room, and in this room we get an attack. Okay, perfect. So this little exploration token actually has a lot of information. This one actually has 2 pieces of information. Let me show them to you. So here on the top you see that icon, and that's a door icon. And what that tells us is how many doors are in this map tile. And then, of course, we see that they're going to get attacked, and for that we're going to be drawing a low threat card. So to figure out what door out of these 2, because there's only one door open or available in this room, we have to roll a d6. If we get from 1 to 3, this is the door that's available. If we get from 4 to 6, then that's the door that's available. And the other one we're going to close up with an end cap. So let's roll for that door, and the door that's open is 4 to 6. Which is this one. Yeah, right. So we're going to close the other one. And then this card we don't need anymore. We can discard it. I'll put it the other side up. Although we shouldn't be able to go through the map deck. There's 1 card for every tile that's available in the core set. Alright, so let me get that end cap, and also let's draw for attack. Okay, so now for an attack. We go to our low threat deck, which we had shuffled previously. And what do we get? We get tentacles. So there's a picture of our monster, the name, and then there's that P. What that means is that we're going to roll this peril die and see how many tentacles are going to be appearing on the tile. So again, we're rolling. Maximum is 6, minimum of 3. We get 3. Okay. And I'm going to put this monster on the bottom. Actually, let me put it down here since I can. Okay, so the way we place the monsters is kind of, the first thing we do is we find the furthest place on the tile, the furthest entrance, so that would be all the way back here. And then we start kind of putting them in a checkered kind of a pattern. And remember, this tile, this square does count because it's 50% valid. So as long as it's 50% or more, it's a valid space. We'll put 1 there. And then we'll kind of checker them off. So we'll go there, and we'll go here. And we have our 3 tentacles ready to attack. Now I also have the tentacle card out, not on that side, on the green side. Let me kind of show you what the information is on there. Okay, so we've got tentacles. We've got, they're from the void, which doesn't really matter unless something else mentions this. They're size medium, initiative 2, so they're kind of slow. Because the highest initiative goes first. I have an ability Smash. Tentacle to hit rolls of 6 ignore a hero's defense. So if we get any +6, then forget it. There's no defending. Which I know you haven't seen yet, but you will. Alright, so they move 6. It's not like the heroes I have to roll. And if we're ever adjacent to one of them and we want to move, we need to escape them by rolling 4 or more on a 6-sided die. They're not ranged, they're melee. And they need to get 4 or more in order to hit. They're going to be rolling 3 combat dice when they do. And each hit that goes through is going to be 3 damage to us. When we attack them, they have a defense of 2 and their health is 4. And then this is the HP we would get for killing one of those monsters. And then the elite chart we're not going to use right now. That comes in later. Okay, so now, of course, this all happened at the end of his turn, after his turn, when we revealed rooms. Now, anything that happens at the end of the turn will trigger, but nothing is still happening at the end of our turn, so we start another turn. And turns when we are engaged with monsters are similar to when we're not. We still get to move and attack, if we want to, of course. And so do the monsters. They get to move and attack. And you'll see all of that happen very, very, very soon, because we're going to hold back the darkness, hopefully, and then go straight to fighting. So let's roll 2 dice. And we got a 7, so we're good. And then we are ready to go. So now all of the miniatures will activate in order of initiative now. So whoever has the highest initiative goes first. Duck has an initiative of 6, as opposed to the Tentacles, which are a 2. So Duck will go first. So the first thing that he can do is move. So let's go ahead and roll. And you always want to roll for movement, because remember, if you get a 1, you will get grit, which obviously I don't need right now, but you know, and I didn't. I got a 2. So I can position myself better. My range is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yeah, let's move a little bit. 1, 2, because this way I can see all of them. And if I could move one more, I would, so that I would be in a corner, but they will still all come. They're all going to come and get me. They move 6, so there's no way. There's nowhere to run. So I won't be a chicken. I will go first, and I will show you how it's done. So I'm going to shoot them with my pistol, which means I roll 2 dice because I have 2 shots. And with my 2 dice, I want to get 3 or more, because that's what I have to hit. That's what I have to get in order to be able to hit them. So I'm looking for 3 or more, and I'm rolling 2. And if I want to re-roll any number of my dice, I just spend a grit. Hopefully I won't have to. Let's see what I get. And I don't have to. I get a 5 and I get a 4. So that's 2 hits. Now that doesn't mean that I'm doing 5 damage and 4 damage. That just means that 2 of my shots actually hit something. Now I go to the damage portion of the turn, where for each hit that I do, I can assign a hit to one of the tentacles or to the same tentacle and result. So I'm going to go ahead and first let's get rid of this guy. He's only 2 away, so it doesn't really matter which one I get rid of first. I'm just picking that one at random. And I have 2 successes, so the first damage I'm going to do is a 2. Now, if I want to, I can add +2 to my damage by discarding one of my 6 shots. And if I want to hit that, I might have to. I can also use a grit to reroll that, and I think we're going to spend a grit. I'm at my max, so if I ever get more, I won't be able to collect it anyway. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to reroll that too, because we can do better, right? Okay, yes, we did much better. So now we're getting a 5. And again, I can use my 6 shot to add +2. And I might want to, because here's how now damage is assigned. So out of the 5 that I was able to roll, they have 2 defense, which means that I'm only doing 3 damage, and this thing is not dead. So I know it's early in the game, but I'm going to go ahead and discard 1 so that I can get rid of my first tentacle, and I gain 30 experience for that. And that was only one of the 2 shots that were successful. So I get to do this again. I get to roll for damage on another tentacle, and I guess we'll say this one. And I got another 5, so I'm in the same predicament. If I want to actually get rid of it, I'd have to use my bullets, and I will. I want to get rid of as many as I can during my turn, because they're coming and they're going to hit me. And the reason why I'm kind of quick to get rid of these bullets is that, well, first of all, I can use 2 grits to get some back. And in this game, sometimes you go through a lot of map tunnels without having to fight anything. So it's not like we're fighting all the time. Now, I do know that at the end, in the last room, I will have to fight some monsters. But for now, I think it's good. We're just going to have 1 guy to fight against. And with that, I finish my turn. I can't search while I'm engaged in a fight because, of course, I'm busy fighting, so I'm not going to be wasting time searching. So we move on to any other miniature that wants to activate, and yes, there is a miniature that wants to activate, and that's the Tentacle. And like we mentioned before, it moves 6. So what they want to do is they want to try to stand behind the hero in order to make room for other miniatures to be able to stand next to the hero as well and attack. Of course, now there's no more miniatures, but if there were, so let's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you can attack diagonally, and this way, if there are other monsters, they can come and get real close to Doug and attack him as well. So this guy is rolling 3 dice, and they need to hit 4 or more. And remember, if they hit a 6, they ignore my defense. All right, here they go. So actually, they missed. No, yes, they do, because they need to get a 4, and none of those is a 4. So, and they don't have grit, so they can't reroll. So that's it. That's the end of everybody's turn. If there was something that triggered at the end of the turn, we would do that now, but there's nothing, so we're going to go back to the beginning of the turn where we still have to hold that back to darkness. So we're multitasking here. We're trying to kill tentacles, and at the same time, we're trying to hold back the darkness. Let's see if we can hit 7 or more. And we don't. So the darkness actually moves forward 1 more. And we've hit one of those blood splatters, so we're going to be drawing a darkness card. We get Demonic Force, Darkness, Boost, Demon. All demon enemies are now +1 combat, remains in play. So the guys we're fighting are not demon, they're void, so it's okay, but this remains in play. So if we face any other demons, we have to remember they are now +1 combat, so they'll be rolling 1 extra die. Okay, and now that we've not held back darkness, but at least tried, we're gonna go, and our guy is first because his initiative is higher. He could move, but remember, if he moves, he has to do an escape. And I don't think he wants to move, but he is going to roll for movement in case he can get back a grit. And he doesn't. He rolled a 3. That's okay. And now he's going to shoot. So he's going to shoot this guy. He's again rolling 2 because his pistol has 2 shots. And he got a 6 and he got a 2. Now the 6 is special because it's a critical hit. And whenever we do a critical hit, we ignore defense. So we only have 1 success, but the damage is going to ignore the 2 that is the defense for the tentacle. So let's see how much damage. And we do 3 damage, so 1 short. I use the grit to reroll, but I'm just going to spend another one of my bullets and get my XP, get rid of this guy. Now, once the fight is finished, we get to catch our breath. And we go through a couple of steps when we catch our breath. So here is when we complete a fight, then we roll. First of all, we can heal D3 wounds or sanity, but we don't have any wounds or sanity right now, so this is not going to help us. And then if we were knocked out, we will recover from being knocked out. And then finally, we get to draw loot cards. So after the fight, every hero is allowed to draw 1 loot card for each threat card that added enemies to the fight to a maximum of 3. Now, only 1 card added enemies, so we're going to be drawing 1 loot card. So no need to recover. I wish that they would give us bullets, because that's what we need. So we go to the loot deck, and remember in the loot deck, just like the scavenge deck, we shuffle it every time. So draw a gear card or an artifact card if you're in another world, but we're not. So we're going to be drawing a gear. We also get 20 XP. Gear, hand weapon. Once per turn, you may use 1 grit to gain +2 combat. Ooh, I like this one. Okay, and it does take 1 hand, but we still have a hand that we're not using, so perfect. Of course, this is combat, so this is for melee attacks, and we usually use our pistol, but just in case, you know, if we ever want to do, you know, combat, then we would be doing, let's see, we're not that great at melee. We have combat, we roll 1 die, which with this will be +2, so we'll be rolling 3 die, and we need to get a 5 or more, so maybe not the best item now that I really think about it. But in any case, that's our loot. We can always, at the end of this adventure, when we go to town, we can sell it, and it does cost $225, so someone else might want to use it. In the meantime, we have finished the catching our breath part, and we go back to our regular turn. So first thing we gotta do is hold that darkness back. So we're still rolling sevens. Oh, and there's one thing I forgot, of course. And again, in this game, there's so many little things that you forget. When you reveal a new map tile, you move forward in the dungeon, in the mine, I guess it is what it is. Because when we pass this line, instead of needing a 7 to hold back the darkness, we need an 8 or more. So it gets harder as we reveal more tiles. So we want to get to our clue tokens, our objectives quickly. Of course, it's not up to us because it's luck. Okay, so we have done great at holding the darkness with a 10. So now he gets to move, and he's moving 1. But he does get a grit for that. Then at the end of his turn, we will explore or scavenge the tile. So we're going to roll 3, and let's see if we can get any 6s. We might as well since we're there, right? And we did get 1 6. Okay. So this map tile is scavenged and can't scavenge anymore. So let's see if we get something that's not totally bad. We get a small find, which gives us 10 XP, and you find a small scattering of coins stained with blood. 25 gold coins. Okay, so that's the end of our turn. We go back to holding back the darkness. And did we? Yes, we did. Okay, and then he moves. He moves 5. 1, 2, 3. We're gonna look to see what we get. And our next map tile is a mining room. Okay, so here's the tile, and this is the one that connects. Just put it here. Then we'll get our next exploration token, and of course we don't reveal it until after all the heroes are gone, which they did. And now what do we get? Okay, so we have 3 doors and encounter and our first clue. Now remember, in this adventure we need 2 clues in order to complete or win the game. So the first clue just tells us that we're on the right track. Alright, so 3 doors, so 1, 2, 3. We do not need to roll to know which door is the door that we're keeping, because all doors are available, which means we get to choose which way we want to go. And we probably want to go a way that still shows on camera. Alright, and we're going to get an encounter. So our first encounter of the game, where are the encounters? Right here. Yes, we haven't shuffled these, so let's shuffle. Child of Sorrow, encounter active, stranger, ghost. The temperature in the room drops as the child approaches you with empty eyes. And we have a random hero has to do a spirit 6 test. And then we'll read the successful after we do it. So what's our spirit? We look at the gunslinger. His spirit is 2, so we're rolling 2 dice. We need to get a 6 in at least one of those 2. Okay, so let's see. Can we roll a 6? No, we can't. So we failed. So let's go ahead and read what happens when we fail. Of course, we could use a grit, but you know, let's just go for it. If failed, take 6 horror hits. Oh no, as it stares into your soul. Wow, okay, I think we 6 horror hits, that's a lot. Although we can try and defend for that. But how about we use a grit and try to roll better? Okay, let's do it at least once. That looks like that's a lot of damage. So we'll try it again. Come on, give us a 6. Ooh, nothing. Okay, so we will do it. So we have to defend for the horror hits that are incoming. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're taking 6 horror hits. So we are going to roll 6 dice, because for every hit that's incoming, we get to defend. Now, in order to defend, because it's horror, it's going to go against our sanity, we need to get a +4. Any of these that give us a +4 is a horror hit that we don't take. What? Really? Did I just roll that? I need to go play Jahtzee, like right now. Wow. I don't think I could have rolled any better, even if I tried to. So we take no hits. All right. And with that, then we move on. And yeah, we did fail, but then it says then. So we took the 6 horror hits, and then the child vanishes. Roll a d6. We can use grit on this one. On a roll of 4+, the hero that made the test gains a loot card as a gift. On the roll of 1, 2, or 3, it's a trap. Ambush attack. Draw a threat. Okay, so let's see if we can continue with our luck of rolling really high. And no grit on this one, so we have to just hope for a 4 or more. And we get a 5, so good. Okay, so we do get a loot card, which means we have to roll. I mean, not roll, shuffle. We already rolled. Okay, so this is the reason why we're here, or at least why the Brimstone became so famous. They found these dark stone shards that apparently have magical power and that everybody wants to buy. So a lot of people came to mine the dark shards, but then of course the monsters started coming as well. So we can sell this in town, but also these things, if you have these, you are going to be corrupted. And at the end of the adventure, we're going to have to see if we are corrupted by carrying the shard. So yes, great, they can power up our weapons, our equipment, our items, but having a lot of them probably means you're going to go insane. We also get 30 XP. Okay, and we've revealed the room. No attack, no monsters. We have our first clue. We need one more to end the adventure. So let's go. First, we have to hold back the darkness. And we got a 6, so we did not. So we move, but there's nothing happening right now. Dog's gonna move. And another 1, so another grit. And at the end of his turn, he's going to scavenge. So let's see if he gets a 6. And he does get a 6, so this tile has been scavenged. Cannot scavenge it again. Gonna go back to the loot. Gotta shuffle again. Loot artifact, 20 XP, and draw an artifact card or a gear if we are in another world. But we're not, so we're gonna get an artifact. +1 lore, so our lore just increased, and once per adventure prevent the darkness from moving on the death track. We might use that actually the next time this thing wants to move, so we can avoid the darkness card. So here's what we look like right now. I've been keeping track of our XP. We have a dark stone and the gold that we have, the book we just found and how much it weighs and everything. Our lore, I increased it from 2 to 3. So far this is what we look like. And with that, we've ended our turn, so we are going back to trying to resist. And of course, 1, 2, I should be here, so I forgot again. But we got an 8, so we're good on the darkness. Yes, when I reveal this tile, I forgot. I always forget to move that part, but we got it. We're good now. We are going to have Doug Cassidy move, and a 6, okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll just stay there, and at the end of our turn, we're going to look through the door, look through the tunnel, and what do we find? We get a blast room, and we put the next exploration token, and with that we finish our turn, so we'll go to revealing a room. Okay, so what do we get in this room? We get encounter ×2. Ouch. Okay, well, you know what, just because, let's do this. I'm going to go ahead and use my shackles. Once per adventure, cancel and redraw an exploration token. I just want to get to that clue token as fast as I possibly can. Do some more fighting. So we're going to discard this and cancel that exploration and just go to the next one. That's it. I've used it because it's once per adventure. So whatever we get here, we get here. And there it is. There's that clue token that I want. So that's our second clue token. So this is our objective room. Still do encounters, but I think we do get to ignore those. Let's go to the mission and see. Also, here we have one door. So before I do anything, okay, the door that's open is 6. Although there might be no doors in this last room. Let's check that out first. But just in case, it will be this door that's open. When the second clue icon is revealed, ignore any encounter or attack on the token. Okay, so no encounter, as well as any door icons. Okay, it's fine. The objective room has no exits. Okay, that's what I thought. Instead, the heroes must draw a high threat card, red, to fight as a large group of creatures have been attracted by the dark stone. I mean, I don't know if the game knows that I'm alone here. It wants me to fight a high threat. Okay, but we ignore all of this. I've closed off all the doors. This is it, guys. We can defeat this, guys. We're good to go. So we're going to draw from the high threat. Okay, and what do we get? Woof. we get a lot of things. Stranglers, Tentacles, and Void Spiders. Okay, so we're fighting all three of these guys. So first, how many Stranglers do we get? 3 Stranglers. Then how many Tentacles do we get? 4 Tentacles. And finally, for Void Spiders, we roll it twice and add it, because spiders come in large numbers. So we're getting 3 plus 4, so 7 spiders. Okay, so I got all my monsters here ready to be deployed. Let's take a look at their initiative, because the way we place them is whoever has the lowest initiative is going to go in the back, and as initiative gets higher, the monsters are going to be in the front. So out of these 3, the spiders have the highest initiative, followed by the Stranglers, and the Tentacles are lowest. So Tentacles we're going to place first, then the Stranglers, then the spiders. So I placed them all in the checkered, way like they wanted me, but I still have more spiders. So what we do is we go in the back and we fill out those holes so that this room has all the monsters. There we go, and there we go. Okay, we did it. So I guess we start fighting. So we check initiative and see who goes first. Now, the Void Spiders have an initiative of 6, and so do I. But whenever there's a tie, the monsters go first. So the spiders are going to go first. Let's take a look at those spiders. Spiders are going to move 8 and try to get behind me. And we're going to move them all first, and then we're going to attack with all of them. So let's see where they will end up. So this guy will move 1, 2, and stand behind me. This guy, 1, 2, 3, stand right here. 1, 2, 3, stand beside me. 1, 2, stand beside me. This guy can zigzag out of here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this guy will just have to wait. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're just coming. 1, 2, 3. They all just kind of wait in line until they can hit me. And it's important to know, if there was another player, another hero, then they would randomly pick a hero. And then after the first spider randomly picks a hero, then the next spider will target the hero that has the least enemies engaged with. So they will target a different hero, and so on and so forth, until they're all kind of equally spread amongst the heroes. But now that the spiders are here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spiders ready to attack me. So what do they roll? Each spider rolls 2 combat dice. So if I have all those, just multiply by 2, and that's how many dice I gotta roll. They need to get a 4+ to hit. So I have 5 spiders surrounding me, so that's 10 dice. And they have no special abilities, so let's see how many of these are 4 or more. Now I want to roll low. And now I don't roll low. Okay, so those are hits, those are hits, and those are hits. Those are not hits. 4 of them missed. 1, 2, 6 succeeded. So now I have a chance to defend, and I have to get a 5 or more, because that's my defense for wounds. Okay, so I've defended these, and I took 2 hits. These are 5 or more, so I'm good. And I took 2 hits, and each hit is successful inflicts 2 damage. So those 2 hits times 2 damage each, I have 4 wounds on me. Okay, so here's my 4 wounds to indicate I am hurt. I have 10 health, so, and I have 2 revive tokens, so I still have hope. Also, what happens is this other spiders can't attack, so I have a chance. If I start killing the ones in the back, the other monsters are going to have to wait. They really can't do much. But moving on, that was the spider, which was 6 in initiative. Now it's my turn, because I'm also 6 in initiative. So, alright, so now I'm going to use my rage. I'm going to use my pistol. And let's see. I do get 2 shots, so I'll be rolling 2. Okay, and those were both successful because I need to hit a 3 or more. And the 6 actually ignores defense. So let's do the one that ignores defense first. And I'm going to go for this spider in the back. How many damage does it take? It takes 3 damage. So the spiders actually have no defense. So the 3 damage, even though we would ignore defense for this particular roll, but it still kills it even if he would have defended. And I get 10 XP for that. So that's 1 spider down, 200 more to go. So for my others again, and I get a straight what I need, a 3. So that's another spider gone and another 10 XP. It's gonna be a long fight with me just shooting being able to kill 2 things, if at all, per turn. But with that said, then we move on to the Stranglers, which have an initiative of 4. Now they are demons, so remember in this game the demons get +1 combat dice, so they're rolling 5 dice. Ooh. And also Strangler hit rolls of 6+ count as 3 hits each. So these guys, they don't do much damage, but wow, they're gonna be rolling a lot. So they move 6, which is what matters right now. I don't think they can get to me. The spiders are in the way, so this guy is going to move and kind of wait his turn here, as will this guy, and as will this guy. And that's it for them. And then some creatures that are large in size can displace smaller creatures, but these creatures are all medium and small, so they don't get to do all that special cool things. And then the tentacles we've seen before, they're not gonna do much either. They move 6, but they're gonna have to wait their turn. So we'll just kind of move it forward a little bit. And with that, this round is done. It looks scary,